So you'll never guess what I picked up last night. We've been talking about going out four-wheeling and that, and if we have like the camper, all the vehicles and everything, we're not going to have enough room for all the four-wheelers. So I went out to Montrose last night and I happened to pick up a trailer.
Cool, but big question is, you have two four-wheelers, and I have two, and I can only pull one of mine. So can you be a good friend and pull one of mine with that trailer in addition to the two you have?
Well, you're in luck. Although I wasn't planning this, when I actually showed up and looked at the trailer, it just so happens to be 12 and a half feet long. So that means I got room for one more, yo. I got you.
Sweet. All right. Well, as long as you're able to help me out, everything is good to go. And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is SureShot. And today we are going to be in SureShot's account. We like to mix it up occasionally. Most of the time, you guys see where I'm at with my account and how I'm doing and all of that, and that is great. The problem is today is I woke up, I started drinking my coffee. It's my one day off this week, so I was like drinking my coffee and like enjoying my day, and I'm just like burp, 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 in my phone, and all of a sudden I realized I had done all my dailies in my alt account, and I was like, well, that's going to make for a fun video. So we haven't done his account in a while, so we figured this will be fun. Let's have SureShot's account on. He can play. I'm going to field questions, so this will give you guys an opportunity to ask questions directly to me. I won't be playing at all. He'll be in his account. This is his account, by the way. I hope the regular energy is bothering somebody out there, and we'll see how that bothers everyone. But I'll be fielding questions if you have any questions. He's going to be playing his dailies. If you have questions for SureShot directly, just tag him. And if you have questions directly to me, tag me. Make sure you tag one of us, though, because if you don't, your question will get buried, and then you will ask me 19 times about answering a question we didn't even see. It goes really, really fast, and I have restrictions where people can only message one every minute, but it still, even with that on, goes insane with the amount of messaging. So
Some people can type fast.
yeah, some people really can type fast. So let's get right into it. What I'm going to do while you guys are kind of talking and saying hi, I'm going to have him go into his characters and actually just talk about what he's developing, what's in his favorites, why, and you can kind of see where his roster is at after a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely moving up onto the 2-year plus mark here. So to give you an idea of where things are at that point. Alrighty, let's see here. Starting off with the favorites, always have a secondary character, some last-minute thought, something that, kind of in the back of my mind thing, and Geonosians have always been that, and mostly for ships, because obviously there's synergy there, and where I'm at in my current shard, it actually works out really well to be able to move up and stay in that top 50 range. So I've always been going back and trying to think about them. So, of course, Sunfac being a really fun gear, he's sitting there in the first spot. So he's not hyper-focused at the moment because, obviously, Jedi Knight Revan's coming around the corner again. So Old Republic is always the forethought for that. Just recently went to the 3PO event, so the Ewoks were in there for a while. Had to get them up to the 5-star because I knew I wasn't going to be able to be ready for the 7-star event, so I got them to that point where I was comfortable just walking right through the 5th-star event. I was able to get them unlocked, and as you can see, he's in the favorites there too. So mostly Ewoks, and they've kind of gone to the secondary position now. Wampa, just because he's just BA. Chewbacca, just got him recently as well. Got the bounty hunters pretty well ready to go for the 7-star once he comes back around again, but just for gearing, he's still in there. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit closer on my mission in Zalbar. I've watched your Scissorman account and seeing how mission is just kind of charge, here you go. So that's been kind of nice to see that mine is getting close. So I've switched my energy around a little bit. I was doing the 3 energy refreshes and no Cantina refreshes. Now I'm only doing 1 energy refresh and a Cantina refresh, so I can still use my 150 crystals for the day, and that's actually helped increase her a little bit. So she's caught up to Zalbar practically at this point because he's started to slow down a little bit, even though he has 2 nodes that I use to farm him with. So let's go ahead and get him taken care of real quick while we're talking about that.
Awesome. Yeah, your what you're focused on basically is Revan when he comes back around, trying to get Chewie back up to 7 stars and trying to get C-3PO to 7 stars the next time around. So you're really focused on those legendary events, so that's good. I am not focused on C-3PO, but I have a similar focus. Chewie, of course, I'm doing the same thing, although I'm looking for a 6-star. That's my goal this time around, is a 6-star. And then my second goal is to get Revan, which I think I'll do. I actually only have 2 that are needing to get to 7-star. I've still got my T3 that's in Cantina. I got to get to 7-star, but he's 6-star.
Nice.
He's 80 out of 100.
He's my big question right
Yeah, he's amazing. And then I've got Zalbar at like 65 or whatever out of 100 like you. So, or you're 91, you're ahead of me. So, but those are the only 2 I have.
That just happened because, I happened to get one, what was that, 2 shards there? So.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm going for, you're not, is CLS. And I have all the characters 7 stars, gear 8. I'm taking them to gear 9, hopefully before the event. And I've got all their abilities at level 7. I don't know. Yeah, right. I know.
CLS.
Yeah, offense and potency. Excellent modding, actually. That's great. That's
one of my only 2 characters to have my Gear 12 Plus pieces, so he's getting up there.
You only have 2 characters with Gear 12 Plus?
Only 2 characters.
Yikes, man. Do you have any of that stuff? All right, we're going to get into the questions a little bit because people are asking. So, yeah, that looks really, really good. You should be slicing that's an offense cross, right? Please tell me that's an offense cross. Yes, it's an offense cross. You need to slice that bad boy. It has offense secondary too and speed secondary.
It does have offense, but I'm always looking for the percentage. But
yeah, but solid is still solid. It's still solid. And that one's crit damage with offense and speed. That's amazing too. But slice those bad boys. You can go to 6E, can't you, on his offense? I would do the bottom one. That one's more important because it's offense.
So let's find out.
Yeah.
I
Speed.
have been saving
Speed.
materials.
Oh, health.
Eh.
Come on.
He's
Speed.
needing more.
Defense. Of course. It always rolls the 2 you don't want.
Yeah.
Oh, you have...
Oh, just short on those materials.
Yeah.
I guess I put somebody else's up to 6E recently. I'm not sure who got those, but there's not enough there all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's tough. I farm that every single day, and that's not a thing you can do really for that. So, Ascend Hades asked a couple of times. He thinks I'm going to miss it, I think, so that's okay. He says, Warrior, what's your opinion on the GOTB requirements? I told you guys a long time ago when they first announced it that I thought it was going to require guilds to be 180 million GP minimum. To even compete, and they said that it's optimal for like 150 million. So I was right. What I thought was right. It's in-game content, and they require super high-end guilds to compete, and all the medium guilds that are doing like the Sith raid will be able to compete. If you're below 140 million GP, they said you basically shouldn't probably do it because you're not going to even be able to compete. You're going to get better rewards from the other territory battles than you would if you went with the new territory battle. It's going to be difficult. By the way, I did beta testing, and I was part of the giving them responses and feedback, and I told them it was tuned insane because it was tuned insane, and it really, even for like a guild like Team Instinct or, like the Alliance or Wolfpack or any of those big guys, it's nearly impossible to get more than about 20 stars. That's amazing. That's challenging. They've built it almost like a combination of kind of like a territory battle and a raid combined. In their last video that they disclosed, they talk a little bit about that and show that they have special like bosses and things like that. So it's really going to be very, very challenging. It will be uniquely different than anything we've ever done before. So pretty excited about that. Barrett Clements says, morning guys. So morning, what's happening? And he asks me, what do I think about General Grievous and Magne Guard rework? I think the General Grievous little tweaks, the little touch-ups are a nice touch. I think that's the way it should have been from the beginning. I think it will make him a little more powerful, so that's good. I like that he hits through foresight. That's important. It really is. I think the Magne Guard rework makes him necessary, and I think he wasn't necessary before. And I think they realized that his rework Magne Guard's like touch up just wasn't enough to make him viable in that sense. He was okay, but even his Zeta didn't make him super amazing. In fact, a lot of people were replacing him with the likes of like BB-8 and some others. And so they really had to go in and make him like viable. And what they did was they added a stealthing mechanism to where he stealths the entire team for a couple of turns, forcing you to have to hit him and stuff. Right. Yeah. And then he gets the cooldown reductions on his ability. So he can, dispel and stuff. It definitely was needed. I didn't memorize everything about the touch-ups, but I did read both of them pretty thoroughly yesterday, and I'm excited for it. I think that team now is going to be kind of on the level it needs to be on. And then once it goes to Gear 13, meaning you pop that team to Gear 13, it's going to go from a B team to an A team. I believe it's a B team right now because I don't believe it's a top 3 team. I think the top 3 or top 4 teams are the Revans, both Revans, and of course Padme. Those are really the top 3 teams out there. So, SureShot, when are you going to join Force Canada? Do you really like your guild? You really get along with all of them well? Are you afraid to leave them because you'd be like hurt feelings, or
the hate and disdain in the Discord account would just be palpable. No, I do like my guild. I really especially like the banter. It seems like there's a few witty individuals like myself in there who kind of get my movie quote humor in that, and we really connect on that. So as far as the entertainment aspect, sure, I can stay in the Discord server. I can hang out with them and move to a different guild. But for how things are working out right now, I think it's clicking really well. So not sure about that. Who's to say down the road maybe, but for right now, things are pretty comfortable. Got to say, I got a butt groove.
You got a butt groove? Mm-hmm. Did you just say butt groove?
Yeah.
That's what you put into a chair.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Development MVP says SureShot low grade is way harder to farm than Mother Talzin. That's probably true because you got to wait for him to drop. Mm-hmm. Warrior Presents. This is maybe. Adam Kochi, I think I said his name right. He says, I like how you were in Boba Alliance's Discord. I was really happy you joined us in the Discord server and the other IT members. By the way, for the record, Boba's Alliance, I think Team Instinct is going to start working closely with Boba's Alliance, and we're going to start trying to become... I think we're going to try to work some sort of like a synergistic relationship out where... we can kind of help Boba's Alliance with high-end theory crafting, which they're already good at themselves, but kind of help in addition to really give them an edge in that mid-range. And then, really kind of we want to kind of pay it forward, so to speak. And there's this new push with some new leadership in Team Instinct to like not be so protectionist with information and like share it and all of that. And so pretty excited about that. So yeah, I was glad that I was able to join the Boba's Alliance Discord, hop in there and chat with you guys. Couch Gorilla says new earrings, bling bling. Talking to you.
Maybe I just cleaned them recently.
Yeah.
Been around for a while.
Yeah, exactly. People saying Eclipse is saying hi from Montreal, and Thomas says this is his favorite series. Awesome, glad to hear it. For the record, we are not in my account. If you're just now joining, we are in SureShot's account, so he's doing the dailies in his. And
looking a little different all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Dark Stanley says, use your energy, use it now, slice it now. Like, they can't stand seeing you have energy just sitting there glowing. Nope, 144, and it's double drops during mod week. So you need to spend the 350s in mods. You really do to get the slicing equipment or the slicing stuff. And then
too bad that's the one piece I can't use to go to 60 mods with because I had to buy it.
Yeah, I know, right? But you could do a lot of like blue or purple stuff to kind of help with that. Ben Parker says, what's up from Southampton? Apropos, what's up, my brother? He says, favorite show of the week. The Fuel. I think it's The Fuel. I think that's how it's pronounced. It says, what do you think about the Chimera event ending after the Akbar ship event begins? I think it's great because it gives everyone a chance to get their Akbar to 7 stars possibly before the Chimera event ends, and I won't get a 7-star Chimera only because of Akbar. So it's going to take me like 3 or 4 months to get my Akbar to 7 stars. Downtown Sports says, how are you at 3 million GP? I've been playing for 2.5 years and I'm just barely at 3.5. Well, he's been, we pointing at each other. He's been hanging out with me and I've been helping him get focused, and I'm at 1.3 million GP after 5 months. So
That's pretty crazy.
yeah, so he's definitely going to be able to get 3 million in 2 years. But this is his account. Dark Stanley, I think they overlap by 1 day. McTweet, Warrior, are you excited for your main account now that this is a new TB? Maybe reinvigorate you with your involvement in the game on your main account. I think that it's going to be high end. I think we're going to, as a team, Team Instinct, I think they're going to I think they're going to film some stuff, record some stuff, give it to me, and allow me to kind of put it out into the community to try and help mid-range guilds to try to compete at a higher level in that PvE stuff. We want to really help some of the guilds with that PvE. So I'm excited because I think it's going to bring about a lot of new content for us for sure. So that's exciting. Dark Stanley says, yeah, that's SureShot's account. Yep, for sure. That's SureShot's account. Darth Marge joined the stream from home. Daniel Mack says, how necessary is it to have both health and flat health on mods for Jolie? Also, should I take a mod to 6E if it is at 85% potential, more or less? I don't know what you mean by the 60, 85% potential, whatever, but yes, it's very necessary. Both health percent and flat health are important on Jolie. You really want to get Jolie well over 50,000 health by the time you're done slicing mods, and preferably closer to that 60,000 mark. You do want him speedy. When I say speedy, I mean like plus 80 to plus 120, somewhere between 80 and 120 extra speed. So it's gonna sacrifice a little bit by doing that. But 100 speed, to add 100 speed on a character is an ask for sure. 80 speed though is not as difficult. You should be able to add 80 speed to basically any important character after about a week of mod farming, because that's reasonable for most people if you've constantly farm for mods. Let's see. I know you've been talking like is boring and didn't care for the game anymore. Oh no, I'm not bored with the game or whatever. I'm happy with the game. So I think we're just gonna be reinvigorated with new stuff. So hopefully that works out. Yeah.
I think it's funny. We've talked about this a couple of different times in the last few streams with specifically the guild store and always leaving a little extra currency for the characters you want, but it never fails. Not that I am super excited to see Ewok Elder pop up in here, but since he is a higher priority than my Jyn Erso, these are the two that you can primarily only get here or pay with crystals. So to see that both of them show up at the same time when I didn't have enough currency for both just drives that point home even further. Make sure you have enough for two if possible. And it looks like we might be having connection issues here. So how's it look on your guys' end there? Drop some comments. Oh. Yeah, looking like we're offline.
Rebounding, but I don't know why it's going on. It's starting to go back. We just got to wait a second, and then it should kick back up.
We got I thought so. Usually the picture gets funny right away.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I've been having an issue with OBS and the dashboard and YouTube consistently connecting together. My internet speed shows amazing. OBS is totally up to date and working great. It shows over 2,700 kilobytes per second, which is well over the 2,500 minimum threshold for it to be getting good. YouTube, I think, has an issue with my video output that we're putting, so it might be a settings issue, but it should be coming back. Anyway, so we'll see. Let's see, Matthew Garcia. We're gonna wait for YouTube to kind of catch up to OBS really quick. I'll answer a couple of questions. Matthew Garcia says, "What's up? Hey, a favor, shout out to my Army veteran sister Amber Garcia. What is happening? How's your territory war going? You'll have to look in your territory war really quick." GK's ship, when do you think it's launching? Tommy's asking. Tommy, that ship is actually coming with the territory battles. It looks like something we'll be buying out of the territory battles. So a lot of people probably won't even have access to it, is what it looks like. Daniel Mack says, slicing to 6E, if I mean a God mod, is 100% potential and a 4 dot is a 0% potential. What percentage potential is worthy to going to 6E? If the mod is meant for that character, and it's a good mod, meaning it has solid stats. It's not like crappy things rolled like just a bunch of defense when it's on like a attack character. If it's got a solid purpose, then slicing it to 6E is important because you get massive boosts. But I look at key things like offense primaries, health primaries, those really boost tenacity primaries, potency primaries. Those are the types I try and bump because you can get a huge jump from that. So that's really, really important. And it looks like YouTube is finally wanting to play nice with OBS. So I apologize for that.
Agreeing with him.
I know. Yeah, it has to be some sort of like a video card setting inside of my computer that is like they did a new update or something, and now it's like not wanting to talk to YouTube correctly. I don't know. I'm not
like that particular driver. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. All my drivers are up to date, and I got a really good computer and all that, so I don't really know. But everybody says it's better now, so that's good. All right, so we're at the bottom. The Territory War, you're winning. I'm winning mine in my Scissorman account, drastically actually. So woot woot for Force Canada, man. We also won in Team Instinct, so that was good. So yeah. Andrew, my brother, says, what's up? So what's going on, my brother? For real, my real brother. I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Let's see how things are looking here.
Ashia says 1 to 10. How excited are you for Brood Alpha? 10. Just the way they drew him and like his graphics and everything with like a shield and a sword. Are you kidding me? Like they could have made his kit like, he sits on the battlefield in turds, and I'd be like, woo, because I'm like just super excited. Xylo Takedowns here. What's up, Xylo? You guys can check him out on Saturday mornings on Jedi Academy. Plus, he has his own channel, so go check him out. Takedown Sports says, 3 million GP. How did you get there? It's not my account. This is actually SureShot's account. I'll probably continue to mention that. We're all caught up on questions, so if you want to chat just a little bit about what you're doing on your account, that'd be awesome.
No, really, this is Scissorman's account. He just changed it to my name, and then we dropped a credit card real quick. So, just to completely mask it out. No. As you can see here, these guys were shisty. They stuck all their Jedi Knight Revans and some Treyas and some other not fun stuff, JTR team in there, in the back. Not so much in the back, kind of in the middle. So I guess it was just kind of waiting for us after we wanted to sit here and watch the loading bar for a while. Yeah, did pretty good clearing out their front wall there. It was a heck ton of bounty hunters on both walls, which I thought was kind of crazy. You usually see one on the bottom. That's kind of regular for our matchmaking that we get lately. So to see kind of what they've had in there, I think was just straight bounty hunters down here. Oh yeah, a couple of JTRs mixed in, but to see all that and then to go back up to the next line and actually see bounty hunters up there too means, man, these guys were really hyper-focused. I don't know what particular reason for. Maybe they just happen to all be in that particular mode where they're like, oh yeah, we all got great bounty hunters, throw them on the front. And yeah, cleared everything out here pretty well. As I was looking at last night before I went to bed, I think we still had these two sitting here, so it was nice to see those get cleared out. As you can see, I'm not participating as much this time around. I didn't put as many teams on defense like I normally do because we switched things up a little bit, and then they were already full by the time I went in there to actually place. And then, of course, going up against a bunch of Jedi Knight Revan teams, I pretty much have nothing for that. My Bastila team took out a couple of bounty hunters, or a bounty hunter team. I had my Emperor Palpatine took out a good team there too. Usually I can get about 2 per wall area or per section, so that's kind of nice. I don't think I have anything for this one. We'll see if I can do anything with ships.
I was just going to say really quick, for Force Canada, something that we do is it's totally different than Team Instinct. So with Team Instinct, what we do is they assign the defense squads and they say, this is what you're going to place on defense. They're very strategic about what you do. And they prescribe all the defensive teams. And that's great. I'm happy with that. That's fine. I actually think less. I can just go and just place what they ask me to place and we're done. And then on offense, they'll prescribe the counter. They'll say, this is what we're facing. This is the counter. Go attack it with this. And So again, less thinking. You just have to know how to execute. That's where it really comes down to execution. Sometimes I do great in execution. Other times not so much. Normally with my JTR, I slaughter. And we did mirror matches this time, JTR versus JTR. And I actually lost because of their L3. And I wasn't even thinking. I was just like, blah, I didn't bring my L3. I should have. And unfortunately, I ended up losing that battle. So luckily I was on airplane mode. And so I just got out of it. And luckily there was no turn meter, but I got out of 4 battles 79 points, and then I had that 5th battle that I ended up somebody else got 15 points on. So that one kind of surprised me. It's been a minute since I've done a JTR mirror match, I guess. The rest of them went really, really well. Going against Revans and things like that went actually really, really well, surprisingly. But that's Team Instinct. They prescribe everything. It's very, leadership heavy, which is good. It actually, like I said, means all I got to do is show up and execute, less thinking. With Force Canada, we do something a little different. The leadership team doesn't care about our opponents at all. We actually don't compete with anybody but ourselves. We actually have the entire guild divided evenly with GP. So like some high-end people, some mid-level people, and some entry-level people on 2 teams. So Force Canada has 2 teams, Team 1 and Team 2, or Team A and Team B, or whatever they call it, 1 and 2, or A or B. I think it's A and B. And then we, in one territory war, we'll have one team set all the defense, and then we'll have the other team do all the offense. And we compete against each other to see how, so if I'm in Team A and we set our defense, and it's how little can the opponent clear of our teams, and then how much can you clear of the opponent's teams, and then we compare once we do it the second territory battle, because they pair, or territory war, how they pair 2 territory wars together. So in a round of 2 territory wars, which is normally what we do, we get to set defense on one and offense on the other, and we get to see how much we stifled the opponent compared to our other team within our team, and how much we were able to clear in comparison to our other team. And we're just competing and fighting against each other, trying to in-house compete with each other. I think it's super fun to do it that way.
Rights.
Yeah, in-house bragging rights. It's like Team A's got this or whatever. It's really, really fun. So I think it's really, really cool. Someone's asking, McTweet saying, actually, what are you grinding? If you want to briefly go back really quick and just show your favorites, because a few people have just joined. McTweet, we did show it earlier, though. So Fraxy asks, what's your GP? It's around 3 million after 2 years in SureShot's account. And you'll see that here when he goes into his favorites, and you can scroll through it. Adam says, after I was done Phoenix, I went to Jedi for Yoda and JKR. Is that a good move? That's exactly what I did. So yes, yes, yes. And then Nev says, what's up, Xylo? And Xylo says, hey, Nev. Hello, Nev.
We'll give you a slow scroll through here. Actually, let me just go ahead and rearrange this. Rearrange this by power, because, that counts for everything, right? As you can see, I got something popped up on Bastila at the moment, but that's because I don't have Jedi Knight Revan yet, and I'm pretty sure that's only for, the Force Bond, the Revan/Bastila ability, and looks like, ooh.
Daniel Mack, thank you very much for the donation. I love the live streams too. I love the interaction with you guys, so I appreciate the donation very much. For the record, if you guys know this about us, you watch other people that live stream, you'll notice that they stream the amounts people are donating, and they ask for donations a lot, and they'll say, if you give us money, we'll do a certain video, or if you ask us a question with money, we'll answer your question first. We don't do all of those stupid games. We don't ask. Yeah, we don't ask for any money. If you donate, that's just your kindness. That's sweet. That's super kind of you guys. If you donate, great. I'm not asking ever for that. And I'm not going to hold you hostage without donations. If you guys ask questions, we're going to get everybody's questions. We're going to try and hit every single person. So super crazy that
hold all the info hostage.
Yeah, certain crazy that some YouTubers do that. I don't ever want to be that. This is for fun. This is just to have a good time. It's my hobby. If you donate, obviously it helps me out continuing the hobby and stuff. But it's absolutely never going to be something that I hound or try to make an issue or anything like that. Because I just figured I'd call that out. All right, SureShot, how's the game feel without both Revans in your account?
I tell you how it feels. It feels about between 800 and 500 in the arena. It feels about like territory wars where, oh, cool, I can plug in here for one specific team, and then after that, oh, Wall of Revens, good luck, guys. Thanks for everybody else who's actually further ahead than me. So it's not horribly daunting. There's still fun aspects to the game. There's still milestones that I reach that I feel really good about. I mean, hey, it's only going to be the fourth, maybe fifth time I think that I'm going to actually have I've watched Revan pass on by that I think I should be able to get him. As somebody might have noticed, I was at 6-star on my mission in Zalbar, but my T3 is the biggest question because if we're guessing that he's coming back around in July,
The very end.
very end of July, then hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, I don't want to go for rarity. They have an interesting idea about how. Yeah, I have an interesting idea about how rarity is going on there. But yeah, let's take a look at my actual Old Republic here to give you a better idea of what's going on. A, B, C, D. Okay.
Really quick while he's doing that, I had a question from Argard23 says, how important is GK to the Padme team? It's actually more important than Anakin's. Anakin, yeah, it's actually more important than Anakin's for sure. Nev said he added Darth Revan to the pillar system. Awesome. Anyone can make modifications to that. That's a suggestion. So definitely. Ben Stein actually asks, how important is GK for a Bastila team? Is it important? It is, but if you don't go to a guild that's giving that character out yet, that's okay because old Ben works as a substitute, which by the way was suggested down by Rackin Z says Ben Stein, old Ben's a good substitute. So we're on the same page. That's hilarious. Zevius said he gave us $5. That was super kind as well. He says, because you don't ask and always have great content. Also, thanks to SureShot. So super excited. See, Psy Guy 420 says, I recently got Darth Revan. I'm trying to gear him up. Is it better to buy new gear pieces or farm them from nodes? In my opinion, the 700 would be better to buy them than save up for them because their drop rate is atrocious and you'd probably spend less crystals actually just saving than spending, is my opinion. So I buy them in shots of 700 crystals at a time. SureShot, did you really ABC the character list?
Oh, I did. I'm glad you caught it.
ABC the character list?
Yeah.
What?
I was scrolling through the list and I was like going, oh, let me show you my Old Republic here real quick. Scrolling down, making sure A, B, C. Okay, yeah, there we go. Do you see people do this where you have to start at the beginning and go all the way through? Otherwise, sometimes I can start off with, like OP or something like that and then move on from there. But depending, how my brain has to work, something you've done for your entire life since whenever, and you still have to go back and, wait a minute, still count on my fingers too, habits. Let's see here. So this is what Old Republic's looking like.
Nice.
As I was saying before, Mission Zalbar looking pretty good. They're on track for sure. I mean, at this point, Zalbar's going to pop to 7-star anytime soon, but T3, M4 is definitely my big question mark. Got a good distance between now and the Revan event, so fingers crossed if I keep up with this, since he is a less Cantina energy node, and since I'm doing the 100 crystal refreshes a day, hopefully after fast-tracking mission, I should be able to get to T3 and just plow right on through. So fingers crossed for me, guys.
Did you just say you're going to plow T3?
No, but I'm going to metaphorically plow on through. I'm going to stay on target. How about that? Yeah. Always a good idea.
He's going to stay on target lock.
Target lock while plowing. So somebody was asking about the importance of GK in a Bastila team. Well, to give you an idea of where I'm at, where my importance is, he's very important. But as you can see, I was talking about earlier, I don't know if we can probably...
Hold on, I'm going to my Old Republic because I want to compare. I want to give them a comparison of mine versus yours.
Well, while you're looking at that, then I can say 785. Like I said, I usually get bounced back to the 800 somewhere around there. If I actually climb throughout the day, I'm lucky if I make it into the low 500s, because past that point, it is a plethora. I haven't seen a lot of Padme teams in my shard, which is surprising. I get the occasional CLS and occasional maxed out ridiculous Night Sisters, but it is just pure Jedi Knight Revan up until, and then still a few interspersed, even up into the 500s, ridiculously maxed out Jedi Knight Revan teams, not with Malik yet, but still Jedi Knight Revan, or Darth Revan that I just couldn't possibly go up against. So if you want to do a compare, if you're ready there, I can go back to that.
Yeah, go ahead and go back to that. And then Xylo Takedown actually asks a good question about the slow Padme teams. They call it a slow Padme team, but you don't actually want her slow. What you want is her slower. That's the word nobody's using. Slower than the team they're going against. What you want is you want the other team to use all of their specials, devastate your team, and then for her to use her team cleanse and cleanse the whole team and put protection up and stuff like that. So you want her slower than all of their team's characters, but not slow. Like you don't want her like 170. You know what I mean? Like it's still arena here. I mean, people I think get kind of mixed up with that. But yeah, lots of health on the team because her leadership provides bonus health to the whole team. And so, with everybody, you mod them exactly how you're supposed to. With damage dealers, you do damage stuff. With tanks, you do tanky stuff. But all of them should have some health primaries. At least 2 health primaries is my suggestion for the team. Build the team exactly how you would normally, except have at least 2 primaries that are health. The bottom left is always health or protection. So for that team, the entire team should get a health circle. And if you can slice it to 6E, then that'll give you a big boost. And then the bottom right, the plus, can be a health as well. And you could slice that to 6E. And so hopefully that helps kind of just give a generalized thing. Darth Mar wants to see your roster again because apparently he missed it. So we might scroll through it again, but let's just compare. We look pretty similar.
The similarities are there. I know that you were still across the board. I can see that you have been getting much better mission drops than I have, whereas my Zalbar's been dropping pretty good. But of course, with any other event that might have something to do with those characters, the drop rate gets a little bit wonky there. So, 7 stars already on your mission, 6-star on Zalbar. Looks like we're similar on gear, and he's 66 out of 100. So, yep, got you a little bit on that one. But your T3's definitely got mine at 6-star compared to my 4.
And then you have Gear 12 Basti.
Yeah, Gear 12 Bastila. And Zated on both those guys, which has been great. As you could see earlier from the arena team, it was pretty clutch, pretty pivotal for that. GK is still a good spot for that. And I like it that my arena team is already set up in that sense. I like that Bastila was a good lead alternative because once Revan comes around and I actually get him, then he's just simply plug and play. Pop out Ezra, throw him in there in the leader spot, and then got the team that could possibly move up into those, 200 or 300s maybe. Yeah.
Well, you might get top 300.
Mm-hmm. People can have something to aspire to. You too can aspire to be mediocre. So that's what they're looking like.
Cameron Dore says, should he gear Separatists for the territory battles or Old Republic for Dreven and Malik? I think Old Republic for Darth Revan because first off, Darth Revan is easily a team that's difficult to get to. It's going to take you longer, and it's going to actually take you a long time to get everybody up to like 17,500 for Malik. The Separatists, you may not even end up doing that territory battle, and if you do, it's still going to be insanely difficult. It depends, I guess, on your guild. If you're high-end in a high-end guild, it's going to definitely be doing territory battle. But I'll tell you, when play testing, the only node I got perfect on was my the node that I took my Darth Revan in. Every other team I could not beat all rounds on the first day. That's how difficult it was. So all my Gear 12 characters got stomped in round 4 of 4, with, of course, my Darth Revan being the only one that was able to do it. So the strongest team I found in the new territory battle is Darth Revan. So I would probably still lean to Darth Revan anyway. John Dickey says, how does the change in hard nodes change what you recommend in your pillar system? It doesn't. I think priorities are still the same priorities. Nothing about the hard nodes affects that. And then Barros Man asks us both, hi, do you recommend a change to a Bastila team from a Palp team in Arena? And my answer is absolutely yes, because paper beats rock, and Emperor Palpatine is a rock.
What was the question? Changing from who to who?
Do you recommend recommend changing to a Bastila team from a Palpatine?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was going to say, when depending on even what shard you're in, those are the teams that I seek out with my arena team. If there's an Emperor Palpatine, it doesn't matter if he's got Fallen Bastila or not. Of course, if he does, that's the one you want to go for first, knock her out of there. But when I see a team like that pop up, I go, oh, cool, I can actually climb a little bit, especially when they're on that third area where it's the one that you have to beat to be able to move past a certain area in your arena. That's the one that I specifically go for. I hunt them out for sure. He's not what he used to be.
By the way, really quick, if you look and see what he's going to do in an arena, he's using Spy coming off the bench with the 2 Geos and Houndstooth with Chimera. I actually evolved this week to that because I officially got to a point where the guy who's always in first place before me, a couple hours before me, he has now a double Zeta Gear 12 Bosk with a 7-star maxed out Houndstooth. It's literally maxed. Yeah. And then it's got like 180,000 health and protection. And my Geos aren't maxed out yet. Like they're only Gear 11. I got to take them to Gear 12 and whatnot. And so for me, I've actually got to that point where Houndstooth has to be killed by the ultimate, which means I need to go around him. So I've been using the reinforcement on Spy. This is the first time since I started doing Geos that's a problem. And most people's are not like that. So with other people, I can still go the trio up front, the Geo trio up front. But with him, because of his totally maxed out Houndstooth, I definitely had to go to Spy as my first reinforcement, which kind of stinks because it does delay the inevitable, and I end up now having to survive the ultimate a lot of times on the other side, which I am, but it's getting more difficult for sure.
Yep. Now, maybe this is a good question for you, and if people are curious at this point with the composition that's going on there, for a while I was swapping Spy and Sunfac. So with my reasoning behind that is to stun Houndstooth when you bring him in as a reinforcement to be able to go straight to health damage on Houndstooth, which worked out occasionally, but I switched back over to being able to swap out the taunt to go to somebody else when Houndstooth was just sitting there, just of course taking it like a man and not just brushing off everything and not having to worry about it. So out of that particular scenario there, still going for Spy as the reinforcement compared to Sunfac?
Yeah, I've tried the whole Sunfac thing. That stun thing works when they're not totally and completely and utterly maxed out. Once he becomes completely and totally utterly maxed out, you can't quite do enough damage to overcome the protection regen.
Which usually happens by the time you'd call the reinforcement.
Exactly. So, when character, like where I'm at with development mid-game and stuff like that, when people have like, a 3-star Gear 11 single Zeta Bosk ship, like that's totally doable. But when you get double Zeta Gear 12 with Gear 12 plus pieces and the ship's maxed out and everything, it's just, unless your characters are totally and completely maxed out, it's not going to happen. The Houndstooth was kind of the thing they put in the game to stop the Geos, because the Geos were hyper dominant prior to that. So you're right, the Spy is actually a better route. You got it on 1x speed. You might want to change that before we get a riot in here.
I noticed it was herky-jerky, but I didn't realize how slow it was at first. Oh, hey, what's up? Let's see here.
Power up.
Yeah, I was always backwards on that, too, because I'm sitting here going, I got, decent health and protection right here. Why want to go for the heal right away? But then I keep on forgetting that it throws offense down on these guys. So
Defense down on the chain.
And defense down, yep. So the castration, as it were.
Yeah.
And of course, I picked up an easy team to go for, thinking, this might be kind of a quick battle here. But of course, they had to throw in the Houndstooth there. He's always hiding out in the background somewhere if he's not right up on the front lines. So
that's all right.
Oops, I wanted to call the assist there, but oh well. We'll make up for it now, right?
Oh, man.
And not so much the assist, but I wanted to call in the reinforcement, which is what was going to help out. And that right there is what you don't want to do. Yeah. Sleight of hand, slip of the... Oh, wow. So, hey, shout out to this guy who went with a good sneaky composition there.
Well, it just goes to show if you make one mistake in an arena, you can lose, or don't make that mistake, you can actually win. Right. It's really sometimes comes down to just one decision.
Mm-hmm. And usually I don't make that mistake because I always go right for the reinforcement, but... See if I can't go ahead and one-shot him. Nope, of course not, because I don't happen to have the other Geo there, but let's see if I can make up for it. Nope. He just went pow. You make a mistake, I capitalize.
If you don't want him to retaliate, you could always, yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Always just hit him, even though it's a waste, so you don't get countered.
Oh, true.
So you don't, get target locked at it. And
Target lock, retaliation. I don't know, might be a moot point, but we'll see what happens here. Probably just gonna sit and watch a slow, painful death. And probably gonna keep him.
ultimate and refresh him.
Yep. I guess I'm gonna want to do that on Houndstooth, because even though I'd like to get rid of Boba Fett because he's pesky right now, he's still gonna hang around and be a royal pain.
Triple shot him, which hopefully will kill him.
Nope, because there's no assist from Houndstooth. No other Geos to back him up at that point.
That's right. A soldier calls an assist, and it could actually be Houndstooth, but Spies is calling other Geos. Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
Darn that stealth maneuver. Another good sneaky one there. What are you doing here, Maul? Nobody invited you. I know I didn't. Let's see here. See if I can try and dispel and or power through some of this. It's going to be kind of pointless on him, so let's see what he's got. Oh. Come on, Vader. You're being pesky. Go away. Oh, not this. No! Oh, look at that. Took out all three of them. That's kind of crazy. If that were my Executrix, it would have taken out one ship and done no damage. Everybody else would have been all dodge. Oh, well. Again, with the one particular move, you can see how that can go backwards on you, because that team I should have beat. What else we got there?
Tony's asking, what do we recommend on energy split for gear versus shards? I'm trying to gear my bounty hunters at the moment, and I'm struggling with it. It's a struggle for sure. So what I like to do is I like to kind of get up, do my refreshes, and then after I do my refreshes, I use that for the characters in the morning, and then I get refreshes of energy throughout the day, and all the refreshes I'm putting in towards gear, all of the initials I'm putting in towards shards. When I find myself getting kind of close to a particular piece or two that I need for a particular character, I'll actually spend a day or two not farming the shards. I'll pause that, and I'll then buckle down on that one particular piece of gear and just put all my energy, including my refreshes daily, into that one piece of gear. I'll also look at all the stores, and I'll buy that specific piece of gear and that gear only out of stores that I can have access to try and boost that faster, to lock in that piece of gear, so I can go back to character farming, shard farming. But I try to kind of divvy it up daily, and then when I get kind of close on a piece of gear, I'll pause character farming specifically for that. It's difficult. Let's see. Kyle Drogo says, I need a new ships meta because I know I woke up and I was in 26th place, and I have everything completely and utterly maxed out. And I'm in 26th place, and I will probably be out of the top 50 before the end of the day. It's just nuts. And I got to climb all the way up. It's just nutty. So bad timing with the slave combo for sure. Let's see. McTweet says, Warrior, did you get to participate in all 4 phases of the GOTB and beta? And was it progressively harder per phase? Yes, it was progressively harder per phase. And day 1 was nuts. Nuts, crazy, like harder than anything. It's like, think of like Sith Raid when we first launched the Sith Raid, how utterly difficult that was. That's basically where it's at.
Your biggest guy just hitting a brick wall.
Yeah. Jason Stradley says, Warrior, thank you for both your pillar systems. I love watching your videos and enjoy your insight. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate that. Thanks for your advice. Awesome. Raid is good, but way too much grinding for sure. I feel like the game is becoming more play, which is Ryan Fuge. He's talking about possibly quitting, and everyone's trying to convince him not to. You just gotta kind of take a step back and just enjoy the grind for the grind. Or if you don't, then quit. Then no love lost. I mean, it's a great community, and there's a lot of fun you can have. You don't have to have everything. I mean, you've been playing for 2 years and you're ranked 785. You don't care. So you just have to.
Not the priority anymore.
You just have to play and have some fun and kind of do what you can do. And you'll find a different area of the game that you like. Some people love territory battles. Some people don't. Some people love territory wars. Some hate it. Some love the raids and are just raid junkies. And some don't give 2 craps about the raids. Some like arena or ships arena. Some don't. So I just like that there's a lot of areas in the game, that you can choose from. So.
And because of the arena crunch and because of how, Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan is, the possibility of Malak and all that, it has really made me go, okay, my priorities for a long time never were top, number one in arena, just because I knew I wasn't going to pay to get to that point. There's a paywall at a certain point, and you just can't get past that because of everybody else in your shard has already gotten there. So I've enjoyed the fact that some days I go, okay, what's my new top arena area? And that's the 500. So if I can reach that throughout the day, then I'm doing pretty good. As you can see here, I already got a couple Revan teams I'm going up against. So reprioritizing what you like about the game. I've kind of gone back a little bit too. I do enjoy the Grand Arena 3 versus 3 is probably one of my favorites. The Territory War is fun to a certain extent, being able to see how I rack up against not only my higher tiered guild mates, but also going up against guilds that I feel are much more out of my realm, and seeing me go hit above my weight is kind of fun. Territory battles are fun as well for the currency, because then I can actually work towards characters that is just becoming more of a collection for me. I like cool characters in here. It's almost like having their trading cards in a sense. That's all compact on my phone. So I've reprioritized and rethought what I played the game for, and it's allowed me to keep on playing, because otherwise, if I was in the same boat as a lot of people are, where they were climbing really good or thought they had a chance at arena and aren't paying enough money or never paid money, they're feeling the crunch and the grind now, and they're just kind of going, forget it. So I get you, but in terms of trying to talk somebody in or out of quitting the game, I'm kind of Sweden on the matter, because it's whatever you're playing the game for at this point. If that's what you're playing the game for and it's no longer working for you and it just is more annoying than fun, then yeah, it's probably not the right game for you anymore.
So Downtown Sports asks, what's the turn order for a Darth Revan team without Malak? Now, are you facing other non-Malak teams, or are you facing Malak teams? Downtown Sports, can you clarify what you're facing? Because you're saying you don't have Malak and you want to know what turn order, but your top 20 arena. So does everybody else not yet have Malak in your top 20, or do they? Because if they don't, you want the fastest Sith Assassin. If they do, you want the fastest Bastila Fallen. And then turn order after that doesn't matter, to be completely frank. You just want it's arena. You just want your best speeds on all the characters that you can. But obviously there's a different character. If you're not facing Malaks, you can get all that turn meter boost from Sith Assassin. If there is Malaks, then you can't. And so then you got to get rid of her for another. Yes, facing other Malaks. Okay, good clarification. So she's pointless. So you just want the fastest Bastila Fallen on the leaderboard. And the reason is, if you can do the fastest Bastila Fallen, you can strategically take out their team and leave Malak for the end. And Bastila Fallen, can actually help you kill Malak, and so can your HK. So you've got to make sure you use HK's Assassinate on the leader, so it kills Darth Revan with one shot, and then the next time he gets to use it all over again, make sure you use it on Malak, and it will kill Malak. Until then, you need to make sure you kill their HK so you don't lose any of your key characters. It's really pretty easy to kill their Malak, or their HK-47, and that's the one I would focus on first. As soon as you dispel their Sith Trooper, or as soon as you get through and kill their Sith Trooper, you need to kill HK-47, number one priority. A lot of people make the mistake of going after their Bastila Fallen. Just let that be. She regenerates too much, but you can kill their HK-47, and if you do that, you can almost guarantee you're going to have more people on the board than them at the end, and you're going to be able to go. But without Malak, it is extremely difficult to win, but I would still say the fastest Bastila Fallen, so you can get that jump, that edge in that for sure. Let's see. Ben Stein says, is there no end to your knowledge? No, I mean, I wouldn't even put myself as the absolute highest end knowledge. There's a bunch of theory crafters that probably know more than me for sure. Adam asks how we met. So if you want to answer that.
Well, it's tale as old as time, Ulysses. It's no. That was an interesting meeting, because I ended up going to the church that my girlfriend was attending at the time. And because we were talking about marriage and moving towards that, we decided that we wanted to start doing some pre-marriage counseling. There's great seminars that were available there that we thought were a good idea, so we decided we're going to start signing up for those. She happened to have known Will and Connie for a long time before that, because she'd been attending the church for a long time. So once we decided to start plugging into that, next thing you know, we were meeting up with them more. One of the actual seminars they were teaching, so got to have some more one-on-one time with them. And after that, realized
I was teaching a seminar. What?
yeah, you teach things? No. So after having some time spending together with that and being that more the focus, then all of a sudden realized, oh, hey, we have a lot in common. Now it's time to start hanging out and being friends. Yeah, long story short, there was a girl involved. Yep, she ended up being a horrible decision, but a lot of great things came out of that. So, gotta take the good with the bad. Wouldn't have changed that for the world. Lots of lessons learned. Ouch, but lessons learned. Moving on, much better things ahead. So, yeah, I really appreciate that whole relationship for this new relationship. So it worked out really good.
Yeah, and then Tony actually said, or you could plug in a faster Grandmaster Yoda. You actually could, and Grandmaster Yoda brings a couple of things. One, you could make him faster than anyone on the opposing team for sure. So that means you could get up that tenacity up, which nullifies their Bastila Sean Fallen. And also, he can do his special on Malik and stun him, remove turn meter, stun him, and because he goes straight to health only, you can just do a little bit of damage to him and then you'll get that stun because he's less than 100% health. So he's actually easier to stun with Grandmaster Yoda than normal. So that's a valid strategy. In fact, like half of my top 10 or half of my top 20 are using Yoda, and it's super annoying when I go against a team that's inferior to mine, but they're using Yoda to make up for it, and I lose to them. And it's like, are you kidding me? Because he's just like, oh, he just happens to one-shot something, and it's like, really? Or what's even worse is when he gets a bunch of buffs, steals any buffs you might have, has his own buffs, and then spreads buffs to his team, and you got a Darth Malik with like crit chance up, offense. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Yeah, it's so sucky. So Aldry says, "What's up, you guys?" Very cool. And yeah, he says the base speed for Yoda is bigger than any Fallen Bass, so that's absolutely correct. Josh Clark says, new name for Warriors free-to-play account, Willy Man. Oh, it's not going to happen because all my other viewers have been watching me, and when I say, and welcome back, this is your man Warrior, I say, this is your man Warrior, and adorable little girl that listens to me says that she hears Scissorman Warrior. So they're in good conscience, can't change it from Scissorman ever in my life. It's got to stay that way.
Not with a story like that.
Yeah, not with a story like that. Josh Clark made the live stream. Very cool. You're going to do another battle, are you?
Yeah. Well, earlier this was going to be a good case in point for what teams I was going up against and what you can do with your particular arena team, because obviously you can see Jimmy Time 89 there has his Darth Revan already, but not really well geared up, not super stout at this point. So it's a possibility you think, oh, hey, I might be able to go after that. But knowing that I've gone up against lower powered teams with my particular composition, knowing that they're just going to walk all over me, probably too, because I would assume this guy, if he's smart, has him really fast.
Nope.
Oh, probably just all beefy. Well, never mind. Got to sometimes take a second look at this to see what's going on there. So that's a possibility. Not ruling that one out, because that's the bigger one to move across. But yeah, old Bastila fallen and 2 tanks. So yeah, it's iffy. You could try it if you're feeling froggy, but
oh, you can, as long as you get your tenacity up from your Grandmaster Yoda, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. But the biggest problem is the 2 tanks, and they're both disruptive tanks. When I say disruptive tank, what I mean is it's a tank that doesn't just, taunt for 2 turns and then it goes away or whatever. It like something, a status effect or something in the game triggers their taunt. And so because of that, it causes you to go back to him over and over and over. And with that specifically, he likes to put pain, or if you do damage, you get pain, and then you have to hit him. So yeah, it's a rough team for sure. There's an undergeared Darth Revan, so you could clean him off and then kill Bastila afterwards. I would definitely kill him first, though, so he doesn't get his special off. And then go for her, kill her, and then kill HK, and then kill Scion, and then kill the hiding tank, Juhani. Scion might make it difficult to kill those 3 first, and he might go Super Saiyan mode, but that's okay. You could still kill him even with that a couple of times. So you could possibly do it. I've beat teams like this myself with my non-Revan team.
Well, and earlier was a better example of what I was talking about, because it was this team. Then there was a Jedi Knight Revan team that was like Gear 11, a couple of guys, few Gear 12s, but all Zated. That would be another, trap where it's like, it's a trap. You could go in there and think that you could make a dent or whatever, but usually a Jedi Knight Revan against a Bastila team just clears the floor. So I think the other team that was an option there that was a possibility was a mirror match, and they didn't have Jolie Bindo, so that was the one I was going to go for, because in a mirror match with my particular composition, I would definitely have, it would have taken a while. There would have been a better possibility of it timing out before it would have been me losing, so that's the one I was going to go for. But the other case in point here, too, is I see an Emperor Palpatine there, especially with an undergeared Bastila Sean Fallen, so that was one that I could definitely clear right out, but it's not a very big climb, so there's where you go back and forth as to what you want to do with Arena. You want to refresh?
What's up, Vader Nation? He's in my Shard chat and in my leaderboard, and not my leaderboard. It's not mine. It's mine. It's my precious. But anyway, I think he's going to join Force Canada. We'll have 2 on there, so that's pretty cool. And then Adam asks, why does Yoda suddenly get offense and defense penetration? Well, you got to put perspective on that. I guess I don't know when he's getting it and what team you're facing and what team you have. And there's just too many, there's too many things or whatever. But Vader Nation says, when using Basti Jedi, always focus on Darth Revan first, for sure. Scion then, so he doesn't dispel your buffs, and then Dark Basti to clean up. That is absolutely true if you make sure you have your tenacity up, because Scion can clear your tenacity up, and then Dark Basti can do her thing. So yeah, you would switch those 2 potentially if you can get your tenacity up, for sure. And then Matt B says his basic attack, if the target is less than 50% health, he gains that. And then Adam says, oh, okay, so I got some perspective. Thank you, Matt, for fielding my questions. I appreciate it, Matt. I'll have you on the live stream at some point as an expert. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you helping out in the comments section, all of you. I like when everybody helps each other out. So let's do a battle, man. First order's easy too.
That's funny. I haven't seen a first order team in a while. Obviously back at 700 here, but that's interesting to see that pop up. Again, another Palpatine team without falling at all. I know I can walk right through them, so that's not really a challenge. I'm still curious about this Darth Revan team over here, just because it might be more interesting. It's a good possibility I could get walked all over, but
let's take our time. Let's do it carefully.
Do it carefully. All right, walk me through it here. Let's make an attempt.
If we can get a stun on Scion, where it's going to be like heaven on earth.
Yeah. If.
Ooh, baby, do you not? No, I'm just kidding. They're like, no, stop, warrior, stop, shut up, stop singing. It's terrible. My ears are bleeding. Ah!
All right, okay. So let's just AoE everybody here. Get rid of that foresight. Got 1x. Why does it always do this to me?
I don't know. And then let's
spread out the love there. Let's supercharge Yoda.
This is one shot, Willie. What?
That didn't do any. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Oh, he has the Zeta, so.
Oh. He's just gonna sit there, I guess. There, one shot him still, but 2.
Wow, that was a nice shot.
To assist and nothing.
Scion, call to assist. Yep.
Just mass wipe this guy here. Oh, hey, all right. I underestimated things. I don't really need to give him any health, so yeah, we'll go ahead and call to assist with Yoda there again. Let's mass attack everybody. Come on, let's make this powerful. His offense is up. Oh, wow. Just sit there and brush it off. You go away, Juhani. We'll go ahead and dispel you. Back to Bastila.
Yep.
Charge everybody up here. See if we can stun. Yes.
Take her
Big
out.
mass wipe. Come on, come on, come on. One wipe. Oh.
It's all right.
Still a good hit, though. We'll see what he's got for offense. Not much. Sometimes he can hit pretty hard, but not always.
Kill her.
Come on, Jolie. Yeah. All right. And then you want to, yeah.
He's going to be difficult, though, because he's going to regenerate everything. So you gotta do mass power hits to him, or he's just going to keep regenerating. He's just very difficult.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be pesky. Let's see what we can do with him. Yeah, I would Retribution up, but we don't got any debuffs or anything to get rid of there. So come on, keep on chipping away.
Which means they'll kill themselves.
True. Go for the stun. Hopefully the kill. Yes! Going in for the kill. Let's see if an assist will actually be called here this time. Yes.
It was because of Darth Revan.
Oh, Darth Revan?
Yeah.
I was not aware of that one.
You can only do
one attack.
Yeah.
Lame. Well, hey, just goes to show you can sometimes overestimate a team. Especially when they got Darth Revan. Don't always be afraid.
But that was max climb. Good job.
Yeah, that was max climb. All the way up into the 600s, baby. Yeah. Oh, and then look at that. Filled right in with, don't even try it, don't even try it, don't even try it. Even with an underpowered GK. Nope, sorry.
Look at Shuriken. He's got a Gear 12 mace just waiting. Yeah, just waiting for mace rework, apparently. And then we're laughing now, but watch, in like within the next 2 months, he'll be laughing after they touch him up.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, CG is going to touch up mace?
What?
They're going to touch him up?
Could they possibly? He's going to touch up that bald head, need a little extra shave there.
They want to touch him up. Tick-tock, you don't stop, ta-da. Tick-tock.
I'm not going to encourage that, sorry. I'll just dance. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole of what I see in my arena there. I can sit here and refresh a few times, but I bet you right where they have me at now is just like, nope, sorry, that's a Jedi Knight Revan for you. Oh, look, or a CLS team, which, again, what's the point? Even with the control piece of Thrawn in there, their turn meter reduction just lays waste to my Bastila team. It's not even a challenge.
Well, and Chewie and Han in there, and then C-3PO in there. Mm-hmm. Your only hope is that C-3PO would get the guard buff because he's only Gear 9 and instead of CLS, and that would actually help.
Yeah.
It depends on how he modded him. If he did just a ton of protection, he might actually still get guard.
Yeah. As long as the whole team is pretty well under geared, I usually have a chance with them, but something like that, let's take a look at CLS's speed here.
Vader Nation said, am I going to try to convince you to join Force Canada? I think I have a couple of times. He said, try a Revan team. Why? That's not even fun, Ryan. That's like...
It's only a 184.
Yeah. I mean, the Revan teams are just slaughterfest. I know this from my own experience every single day. If they've got a double or triple Zated Revan, it's just impossible with the amount of kills you have to put on the other team, and they mark and kill one of your guys, and then it's 4-5, and then they mark another one and kill it. Now it's 3-5, and you barely killed one of their guys. It's a nightmare.
They always go after my Jolie, but usually if GK is taunting at that time, they can one-shot him with the mark. I've seen it happen before. It just, you sit there in awe going, there's just no way, but nope, just done. We can wait 5 minutes, see what's on the leaderboard there later. We can go back to that if you guys want to see a Slaughterfest, just to drive the point home. And I wouldn't mind being proved wrong.
Go to ships.
Oh, yeah, let's see what ships are here. I have to call out Eli Vizsla in my guild there. We just happened to be on the live stream when he 7-starred his cup.
That's hilarious. By the way, if anyone wants to know what the absolute worst farms in the game are, in the entire game, no matter what, it is IG-2000 and Xanadu Blood. Those two ships are atrocious. I'm doing them very, 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 very slowly. I haven't even actually unlocked either one of them. It's c'est terrible, charable. Yeah, a 20 hard node light side, 20 hard nodes, but the drop rate is absolutely atrocious. The only saving grace for this one is you get Droideka, yeah, and Droideka is actually a good in-game droid, but you don't obviously need it for entry to mid-game. But if you had it, you would use it for sure.
Nope. Now, I've gotten some flack before on how I do my farming or how I use my energy and how I space it out. We can beat this point till we're just blue in the face, till it's dead, done, and it's that horse that you just can't stop. But go back over for a few more swings. But when you only get 5 attempts, I call it me, call it crazy, call it whatever. If you're already working off a certain percentage, you almost want to trick them into like giving you something at this point. So if I only got 5 to work with, I try to half most of mine or split them up. So you start off with 2, they're like, oh, darn. But if you throw an extra one on top of that, it increases your chances, right? No, but it just makes me feel better on how I do it. So there's my reasoning behind that.
It makes you feel better. That's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm. It's those feel-good tactics. When you're in the area and realms that we are, trying to be neutral in the game, yeah, you're just looking for things that give you a little bit of semblance of, okay, well, at least that. At least. Well, at least I got 2 shards this time. That's pretty uncanny. I usually get skunked.
That's 40% drop rate. That's pretty happy.
Yeah. We're we're proving them right. Let's stop that. claims all day long, but you know what? Proof is in the pudding. When you're doing it for a week, that's what really shows up. Sometimes in front of a live stream, we get lucky.
And you know what? If proof was in the pudding, I wouldn't eat the pudding because that's disgusting. Get that proof out of that pudding. Pudding, there's no right to be putting that proof inside of that thing.
It's not a flavor.
It's not a flavor. It doesn't taste good. It's not good. Tony says, I missed the beginning of the stream. Has work slowed down yet? We're at the end of that. So hopefully very soon. In fact, in July, I'm taking 2 weeks off vacation. Mm-hmm. So pretty excited about that. Yes, for sure. And starting to try to kind of strategically plan out in a couple of weeks, 3 days a week that I can start to build videos. So pretty excited about that as well. Mm-hmm. Adam says, I can't believe my Xanadu Blade has more shards than yours, SureShot.
Shut up. No. Have you been working on them longer? Has it been like, this is they're secondary. There's my main favorites, then there's my secondary favorites and my characters, then there's the ships. I mean, we all want a Millennium Falcon, don't get me wrong, but priorities here.
So a tip I do, this is just kind of Warrior's tip of the day, is a lot of people will farm characters, but then they kind of forget about ships that are farmable on nodes because it's like an afterthought or whatever, or they get all focused in on the characters they're farming, and then they go, oh crap, I was meaning on farming those ships. So what I do is instead of putting favorites and ships on my alt account and favorites and characters, I put the character that's got the node for the ship in my favorites in my characters, so that way, like Poggle is in my favorites. Why? Not because of Poggle. I care two craps about Poggle. What I care about is
Poggle the useless.
Yeah, Poggle the useless. But I care about the ship that's on Poggle's node. Same thing with Droideka. I have him in my favorites. I don't need or want Droideka right now. That's not at all what I need. But I've got the ship on there, so I put him in my favorites in my character favorites, and then that gives me the mental like clarity when I'm looking at my top 2 rows and favorites, like what characters or ships I'm focused on and how much energy I need to be spending, kind of, mentally gives me that whole look. And then Keegan says YouTube does not alert me to the live stream ever. You'll have to go and look. We probably don't have notifications turned on for my channel. I've noticed a lot of people, once they go in and they recognize that their settings for my channel are actually not set, because YouTube occasionally does updates. And when they do those updates, sometimes they change how notifications occur. And if you don't go and check your updates or update your notifications, sometimes it could be on a more passive notification setting. Jason Stradley says, Warrior, I do the same thing when farming ships to remember why I'm farming them. So just a tip. That's something I like to do. So that way you can not have to worry about going into characters and ships and all of that. Just one spot, one location, for sure.
As you know, the U-Wings are great reinforcements, so one things you always want to work on too, but it just sometimes with certain characters too, it's like, what do you have a need for Biston or the soldier there? It's just, but Rebel Pathfinder, soldier, scout, either one of those, they all look the same to me. Star Wars racist much, but 7-star ship, I think even the abilities nearly maxed, but characters themselves, the pilots, just not up to snuff. So they're going to get there one day. But when I have a secondary, a third, a fourth, a fifth, spot in my favorites, I can go ahead and throw them in there. Just not a priority yet, as much as I'd like to see those ships move up further. And as you can see, not even unlocked. One thing that I think you find always kind of interesting or funny is that even after the retweaks and all that, I'm still not an Anakin fan. And just not gonna do it. I don't know why. I mean, until he becomes a pivotal enough piece in some area of the game that I really need him for, you're gonna see that a ship waiting to go, but the character just like, nope, sorry, not happening. Haven't made 1 ounce of effort towards farming him, because I think I may even have a few shards just because of where he's dropped a few times once in a while, but sitting on a big old fat 8.
Yeah, and he's actually really good now in lots of different teams. People use him with Night Sisters, and they use him with their Jedi, and he's got a good ship. His ship's really, really good. Tim asks, do you think the Star Forge will be coming back soon? Not soonish, maybe in a few months. Paolio, I don't know, I messed that name up. He says, are you ready for Grand Arena Championship? And I think I'm going to be as ready as I'm ever going to be. Yeah, Paolo. K1773R, bro, says, hey, bro, big fan. What would it take to get a roster review? So I do those for my patrons only because I only have enough time to do them. I really don't even have time to do them for them, but I do make time for them. So you'd have to become a patron. That's something that's optional, obviously. You join in Patreon, you get my Discord chat, you get a roster review, you get some one-on-one time, things like that. So it's just one of those things. Ryan says, do you have a Gear 12 cup yet, Warrior? I have a Gear 12 on my main account, a Gear 12 everything. Literally the entire game is Gear 12 right as Gear 13 is being launched. So that was fun. Yeah, exactly. I even have Rose and Holdo and Cup, all of them. So let's see. CNT Video says, hey, I'm a newer player, a level 84 with my first Zeta on Palp. Awesome. Should I Zeta Thrawn when I get him removed from the Empire and start farming Bastila Lead Jedi Squad? I would reserve that Zeta for another team, and I think a Bastila Lead Zeta would be smart because that's a better team for Arena, and it leads up to the Revan team that you're going to end up using. And then McTweet says, Warriors, so the fact that you couldn't complete the battle 6 of 6, was that phase 1 or later on? I can't talk to the specifics, but the battles aren't the same and the days aren't the same. That's all I'm going to say. Things are different than anything you've seen before. And so it was at the very beginning, the very first battle I did, I couldn't complete. The very first battle I did with Gear 12 plus characters, I couldn't complete the first battle. So yeah. Yep. So it's going to be difficult, you guys. Ivan, I'm at a point where I'm not sure what to focus on my roster. Well, that stinks. You definitely want to kind of get that locked down and figure that out. And then Josh Clark says, Warrior, with the Geo Territory Battle beta testing, did you use your own main account or a test account? I used my main account. And I will proudly say that on my main account, I was able to unlock the Brood Alpha because they give them to you for the testing. And I was able to get him to Gear 12 Plus with nothing. Just I have the gear for him sitting in my account. So I'm like so excited to get him because he'll be farmable. And once I farm him and get him, I'll have all the gear. I already have the gear. I know it because I imported my account and I had all the gear to take him to Gear 12. And I was like, yes, that was so exciting. I was like, yeah. I can't wait. Psy Guy says, Warrior, I geared up my Executrix first, probably a mistake, not so much. Which capital should I focus on, switch for Arena? So they all have differing reasons. The Executrix is great, has a decent finale, as long as you've got that Darth Vader coming in out of reinforcements, because he can start to target lock people right before the ultimate. When the ultimate happens, it kills, and then it stuns anyone target locked. So you want to spread that target lock love. If you're using Thrawn, which I do, he's probably the best just all around because he can be used with any team composition, and he gives you that ultimate at the end, which really can help change the course of that battle. And then Akbar you should be developing because he's ultimately the current meta and has been for months, and he works best with all the rebels. And with Millennium Falcon being the most powerful ship in the game, because paper beats scissors. Or paper beats rock, paper beats scissors. I would love to see that. Paper's like, scissors die. Yeah,
like a full read of paper.
Yeah.
500 sheets.
Rock is, by definition, a houndstooth. It is a rock. It just sits there and just takes a beating. But paper is the Millennium Falcon. And so you definitely kind of want to do those three. The only one that doesn't have a huge role right now is Mace. But I'll be honest, Mace's timeout team that was meta just last meta is actually an insane defensive squad to set, so you can free up and do all rebels on offense. And so, to be completely frank, they're all important, but you got to decide what you're going for. I did Thrawn with Geos, and then I'm going to eventually evolve into rebels. And I'm going for bounty hunters now, but bounty hunters are going to be a long, like 6-month grind minimum probably. So that kind of stinks.
Kind of stinks a lot.
Yep. Let's see. McTweet Warrior, thanks, asking for my 180 million guild. You guys are going to be, you will probably want to play it. It's going to be very, very difficult, but I think the rewards will outweigh the rewards of another one. So shameless shout out to Dark Force Separatists. What? Tommy asks, where is Alpha farmable? It's not disclosed yet, so I can't say. Josh Clark, Warrior, is the territory battle worth all the hype? Can you say anything about the rewards? I can say that the rewards box looked amazing, like really, really good, but the other reward boxes look amazing too, and I get crap out of those reward boxes, so I'm sure there'll be a way of them giving me crap even under those. Let's see. Some more people asking how we're going to unlock the Brood. I can't say. Did he GBA have a cryotech crunch, or is that under NDA? Can't say, but basically just consider every new character that's been released has had those new cryotech pieces. So every new character in the future will probably have cryotech pieces. Just a safe assumption there. Okay, guys. That new guy says,
that moneymaker go to waste.
I know, because they don't want to put a crunch on the old gear you're looking for. Yeah, right. That new guy says, Warrior, how do you go about, did you go about the change to the hard no amounts on your Scissorman account? Did you just buy out refreshers or just decide to farm more characters at once via hard nodes? I farm more characters at hard nodes, but I also am able to do a lot of refreshes because I actually get like 600, 700 crystals a day, which is an amazing amount. Can't wait for his ship. I can't wait for General Kenobi's new ship either. Dane says, who's the better lead for Chewbacca event, Zeta, Jango, or Bosk? Honest to God, I think it's Bosk. I had both Jango Zeta and Bosk Zeta. I tried Jango Zeta a couple times and just got destroyed. There's no durability. The characters are like squishy under Jango, whereas under Bosk, they are super durable and can regenerate and recover from the damage dealt. So I really feel like for that event, Bosk all the way. Do we know when the Geo starts? They announced it, I think, on like the 26th of this month or something. I don't know. They made an announcement and they put in there, it was at the end of this month. So sometime at the end of this month, for sure. And then Vader Nation said, wow, you're not kidding. Really are stuck behind walls of Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan. That feels bad, man. He's talking to you. That for sure. And Vader Nation and I are now stuck behind that. We can't get into the top 30 most of the time because the Revans and Darth Revans, after having just Darth Revan just come out this week, now like the top 50 are almost all Revan and Darth Revan. It's really, really, really hard, and I'm still winning a few of them, but I'm like having to beat the like Gear 8 Darth Revans, and like, yay.
I found one.
It's difficult for sure. Josh Clark said, how many stars did you get in that? I can't discuss that. That's beta, so I can't discuss it. Barrett said, did you see GK's ship in combat? No, I did not actually see that ship. With all the Old Republic characters to farm, when's a good time to ever farm Night Sisters? Honestly, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, when am I ever going to get to Night Sisters? The good news is, a couple of the sisters get given in an event every month, and so I'm just passively getting their shards. And then a couple of them are easy to farm in the stores, and at some point you'll finish the farming in the stores and you'll get to them faster than you do other characters. And so I'm passively getting my Night Sisters up. I'm not even trying. Mine look worse than yours. I'm not gearing them yet. I'm just getting their stars passively, but you kind of will get them over time. I know they're such an amazing team, but they just don't have a place early in the early game, in my opinion, because they don't have ships, so they don't benefit you there, and they don't have, they're arena viable, but they're not like overpowered arena viable like the Revans or whatever. If you tweak them right, you might be able to still win, but it's super difficult because the Revans and Darth Revans can do a lot of AoE damage, so they can just clear a team really quick. Really actually pretty fast. So I don't know. They just, they're usable in like the Sith raid. They're super amazing in the Sith raid. They're decent in arena, but, they just don't have as much utility as a lot of the other teams that are in there.
Well, they're not required for a legendary character too. If you're not working them specifically to try and get something else, then yet again they get put on the back burner.
Yeah, every other character gets you another character, and they don't get you anything yet. So that's true.
Find a way.
When the new TB starts, can you remind me what the minimum GP is to participate? Honestly, the true GP minimum is going to be your guild GP minimum, and that's going to be the guild GP is 80, but really you shouldn't participate unless you're double that, like 150, 160 million GP. And then all of the nodes that you fight and stuff, there is like special missions, and those special missions, certain ones, there's quite a few actually. Let me just say there's a lot more nodes than there used to be.
Yeah.
So it's really painful when you donate, because you donate and then there's like even more teams you need at gear 12. But those special missions required 16,500, which basically means you need things like gear 11, gear 12, or you can't even play. Like your, minimums are there for sure. It starts at the end of the month for sure. And what's the best combo for Night Sisters? There's kind of two best combos. The 4 that you always use is going to be like Saj, Mother Talzin, Old Daka, and the Zombie. And then Spirit for PvP, like Territory Wars or Arena, and Talia for PvE, such as like the Sith Raid. That's what you would do. So you'd actually do 6 of them. And then, we're pretty much in the same situation. Let's see. Matt B. Night Sisters have a passive farm of about 2.5 years for me. Wow. Yeah, Talzin will be tough. The troopers are kind of the same as Night Sisters. Yeah, they're not directly needed for anything. I did my troopers because they're Empire, and I knew that if I got them for Empire, I could do my Empire events better. And I would have troopers because their troopers are troopers and Empire, so it was like 2 birds, 1 stone. And I could use them for events, and I've been using them for events. In fact, there was that assault battle where I was able to do 2 of the 3 assault battles with my troopers in there, because they just mow through all those little Ewoks. It's super fun. So that's pretty easy. See, Tommy asks, which of those were teams for those special missions? Let me guess, you can't say. I bet that sucks knowing and not being able to share. Yes, I can't. Just say it's Territory Battles Separatist Edition. You know what I mean? Like, look at the video they put out. It shows all the Separatists on the board. And they just reworked all the Separatists and bringing in new characters for the Separatists. And they just brought out Wat Tambor for the Separatists. By the way, Wat Tambor is totally overpowered, insanely overpowered. He provides a unique that's overpowered, and 3 uniques to 3 different characters on your team, and each one's overpowered. It's nuts, just absolutely batty.
Oh, so they had to dwarf out 3PO right away. Huh?
Yeah. Well, he's kind of like a C-3PO, but he's actually, in my opinion, better, because if you put him into a team, he can change the landscape of that entire team in a uniquely different way for each character. And he can do that with each team. It will interact differently. So he's a real insane plug and play character. So Gear 12 troopers with range are beastly for sure. I love range trooper. Chan Chong says he's finally done with exams. Good job. What? Now I have to get the troopers up. Yeah, Ivan, the troopers are good. They're just a lower priority. Like I said, I only did certain strategic troopers. I did Veers, Stark, and range trooper and snow trooper, because those are kind of either given to you or easy to farm early on. And I used them for the Empire events to get, actually, I got my R2D2 with gear, 7 and 8 troopers, and it was because a range trooper I won. I actually recorded it, never made a video because I didn't have time, but I have it recorded on my tablet, and so I actually can't wait for R2D2 to come back around, because when he comes back around, which should be in July, middle July or whatever, then I'm going to actually put that video out to showcase how low you can actually have gear on characters as long as you have the right kit. It's the retribution and protection regen that caused me to win, and that was all range trooper all day, man.
So you just basically kind of tap danced your way to a victory there.
We should probably do story time.
Ah, yes. It is about that time of the day. I was going to suggest a arena and or ships battle for my territory war, but given our time constraint, I think that's probably a better option. As you can see, the hat has been turned. So we could leave it up to you guys. How much time do we have? Do we want 2 stories? We want to go ahead and throw your story in at the end there? I can save mine for next time. What do you guys think? You want 2 stories? You want 1?
Yeah, we're at about an hour and a half. I try to keep these around an hour and a half as best as possible. We can do 1 story from me, or you guys can do 2 stories, 1 from each of us, or we can save his story for next time. Why don't you guys just really quick pipe in what you guys would like to hear, and then as soon as story time's over, we'll bail, because I think we got most of our dailies done. Big Easy says 2 stories. So you got to do another 2 stories up. Oh, here they come. 2 stories. 1 story, Dark Stanley. Darth Mar, you're messing it up. You're in the top 10. Matt B, what's going on? Come on, you guys. One or 2 stories. So far, I got 2 stories twice and 1 story one. There's 3 that want 2 stories. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 2. And then we'll wrap this thing up. Let's do 2 stories. Mine is an interesting story. It will take about 6 to 8 minutes to tell it. So yeah, we'll go with you first, and then we'll end mine. Dos X.
Dos. I don't always do story time, but when I do, dos. All right.
Captain Morgan.
Let's see. This story has a couple different meanings behind it, why I'm telling it, where it would come from.
Hold on. There's no dead people in this one, right?
No dead people. This one's happy fun times. It's good. It's a good time. It's kind of an interesting correlation of how it built up to that. But I guess this is a great way to tell people about how I got to enjoy underage drinking from America's standards. And technically, the Bahamas is still America. I mean, let's just be honest here. They're unincorporated, but they're part of it. Their legal drinking age was 19 at the time when I actually got to go there. So, quick backstory. Started off working at Jiffy Lube at the ripe age of 17. Became an assistant manager within 3 months. Put some good numbers up. Did a really good long year there. Got to know the owner and his son really well and became best friends with his son. Actually just went back to Illinois in December to stand in his wedding. So just to kind of give you a correlation as to where all that comes from. But when I was working with the store, got to know everybody really well there, and it came back around to the Jiffy Lube National Convention, which was usually is held in Vegas, which I've heard was amazing, and kind of missed out on that one. But around the time that this one came about, it turns out that they had an extra spot available. They bought tickets for their whole family to go, and his daughter ended up not being able to make it. So he's like, well, why not bring my son's best friend along? You pay for the plane ticket. We've got you set up at the Atlantis. We've already got the rooms all paid for. 9-day freaking trip. So you get to go there and hang out and pretty much just enjoy the fun at our expense. So I was like, cool. I think it was like a $650 round trip ticket at the time. So it was pretty cheap. So get down there, enjoy some of the Jiffy Lube festivities here and there. I wasn't working with the company at that time, so it wasn't specifically for that. So he and the owner's son and I got to go out and partied up, have a good time. Again, drinking age there was 19, but funny enough, he was only 18 at the time and I was 20. So I was waiting for that sacred 21 going, all right, here we go, getting ready to have some fun, but got to experience that early in the Bahamas at the Atlantis. So, yeah, it kind of helped make up for the fact that your pina coladas and your Maui Wowies and all that were $14, $15 a piece. So not drinking a ton, but needless to say, a pretty constant stupor the entire 9 days that we were there. It was not bad by any means, but it was on that nice, comfortable, sexy drinking, fun drinking kind of level, not this trailer park trash stuff. So all that to say, there's a specific nightclub in the Atlantis that was their premier nightclub, and it was like a dance club, and it was, the crown jewel at the time because they just put it in or something like that. And all the bouncers there are the, what they call them, the Royal Guard Police or something like that. So they're all cops, technically, that are the bouncers for that particular establishment. So we didn't know this going in. You were allowed one free entry as a Atlantis guest, but after they've already checked your room card and seen that you've been there, they charge you each individual time after that you want to go back to that club, which is $35 for an entry fee. So we were like, well, forget that. We're already just, getting destroyed on booze around here price-wise, $8 a Patron shot, come on. So not even thinking about it, this is just kind of a good way to say, hey, you know what, put good things out there, be nice to people, and you never know how to come back and repay you. So I see that this one particular policeman was there every night that we were there, so I could just see this look on his face like, God, I want to be anywhere else but here. So I saw this, walked up and started talking to him, chatted him up a little bit, and I was just like, man, it seems like you guys kind of, you don't have a lot to do right here. You're pretty much just kind of checking a rope for people once in a while and not much else going on. So I chatted him up for a little bit, kind of got to know him a little bit, and after a while I was like, hey, do you want a drink or something? You've been standing here for a while. And he's like, well, not allowed to drink on the job. I'm like, well, no, like a water or something. He's like, that would be great. So every time I'd come up and say hi to him or whatever, I'd ask him if he needed anything, just kind of like be his personal bartender for the night. So past that point, just thinking, oh, being a nice guy or whatever, every time we'd walk by the nightclub, he'd recognize me. He'd be like, Jacob! He'd come and open the rope for us. He's like, lots of pretty girls in here tonight. And I was like, oh, no, man, sorry, I can't afford it. He goes, come on in, man. So for the rest of the time we were there, every night we were at this nightclub because I happened to be nice to this guy, give him drinks. He let us in free the rest of the time that we were there.
That is awesome, man. I tell you what, a little bit of niceness goes a long way. Pretty funny. So I have two stories at the tip of my tongue that I could go into, and someone asked for 3 stories. We're not doing 3, but for sure. So for story time today, do you guys want they're both kind of interesting stories, kind of funny. One happens to do with UFC, and it's a decent story. Or the other one happens to do with chaos at my home front. Kind of an interesting story. And I was the one I was originally going to do. So I'll let you guys, this is a choose your own adventure, you guys. So really quick, go ahead and hop into chat and let me know. Do you want that interesting kind of story from my house? That
save the stranger or continue on with your mission.
Yeah, it's interesting story from the past, or do we go into the UFC story in Vegas? Homefront, the original Homefront. Okay, good. That's the one my wife said that she wanted me to tell because she's like, people need to know what you've done. Okay, so so we made that. We can do the UFC story another time. Just remind me. Me kind of like getting into VIP all the time. It was a thing. I had a way of getting into VIP. I have a bunch of really, really funny stories about getting into VIP sections and how we did it. And it was crazy. But anyway, we'll do that another time. So we're going to do the storm front, or the home front. So first off, we moved out into the country about 8 years ago. We've moved since back to town, but we moved out to the country. We got horses. We have a ranch. We got a bunch of property, a big home. And I was like Mr. City Man, right? But my wife was actually raised on a farm, a real farm with $1 million worth of like farm equipment, because he was a career farmer and equipment is not cheap, like $200,000 for a combine. Like, this stuff's expensive. He had to work his whole life, like 75 years buying this stuff. But someone asks, which one will cost less crystals to tell? This one unlocks for free. So anyway, I just painting a picture for you guys. Okay, so I'm in the country, but I'm a city guy. We move out there into the country. We have a freaking tractor given to us by her dad. So it's on the property. The tractor's on the property. And Connie my wife is using this tractor to like try and create a garden out in the desert, because she just makes stuff grow no matter where she's at. So she's trying to make a garden in the desert. And so she's using his tractor with this massive tiller, which goes like 18 inches down into the ground and like tills hardcore. And so we're just painting that out. That's what we are. We're out in the country. We're living life. I'm new. I'm a hobo. I'm like, I shouldn't even be out there because I'm totally going to get myself in trouble out in the country. But I'm like, it's good. Well, one night we decided to have a bonfire outside because it's the desert. There's nothing around. So we did lots of bonfires there. And by the way, we're always like real safe, and bonfires were fine. But this
fire pits, fire extinguishers, the worst.
Yeah, but this particular night I was outside with a bunch of friends. We'd been drinking a little bit, and I was kind of hearkening back to the days of my childhood when in high school we'd go out to the desert, and when we were done with the fire, we would take the coals and we would scoop them with a shovel, and instead of like peeing on the fire, which a lot of people did, you know what I mean? Like we would do your part. We would like throw the charcoals, like the hot coals, out into the desert, but it was like a desert. It was like dirt. Mm-hmm. And so it would just like go onto the dirt and glow, and it would look like the stars in the sky. It was the most beautiful thing in the world, and it never started a fire, and it was just a desert. And so you'd throw the charcoals throw the coals and let them burn, and then just wait until they all burned out, because they were all separated, so they would like burn out and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was the thing. That was the thing we would do. It was really gorgeous, actually. You throw them out into the dirt, and the dirt would just glow like the sky, the stars in the sky. So anyway, long story short, that was the thing that happened in the past, and now we're at home, and I've got this group of people. Well, unbeknownst to me, you guys can probably see where this is going. Unbeknownst to me, my wife had just had a semi load of wood chips delivered. She took the trailer or the tractor, and she moved them all around in this area where she was going to make it. And by the way, her garden was like 40 feet by like 25 feet. This was not like a small garden. This was a huge one. That's why she did a semi-load, dumped the semi-load of wood chips down, and then she rototilled them all in with the tractor, like with that, the rear, whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm a city boy. I'm not a farmer like she is. But anyway, she's out there all, like, yeah, she's like, like getting it all in and stuff. And anyway, she didn't tell me. And so she's got this whole like area, like 45 feet wide by like 25 feet deep, all rototilled in. And our desert is just desert. It's just dirt, just like back in the day in high school. So we have this with this bonfire at night, and I'm like, hey guys, check this out. This is going to be so awesome. I used to do this all the time. So I like scooped the, stuff, and I like threw them and scooped some more and threw them, and they're like glowing and they look gorgeous. And it looks like the skies in the starlight. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah. And my brother's like, disclaimer, don't throw fire coals ever. We're in fire season for sure. I'm not exactly the smartest guy ever. Sometimes I make my mistakes. So anyway, I threw them and everything seemed to go out, and we had fun and we put the fire out, and then I went to bed. Everyone left. Fun fact, I was a Grand Junction police officer at the time. And
the should know better category.
The reason why we had a bonfire was it was my wife's birthday the next day. So this was my wife's birthday. I wake up on my wife's birthday. I get my uniform on for work, and I get into the car to leave, and I'm like, oh, there's a wall of fire 25 feet high and like 25 feet wide. Ha! This is going to be awesome. So in my uniform, I don't want to wake my wife. It's her birthday. She's sleeping. So I jump in my uniform onto the tractor, and I go out there and I try to like scoop and dump and try and put the fire out. But I've got like rubber tires. I'm like afraid I'm going to like burn these tires and stuff. And so I start dragging the front bucket with the tractor. I dropped it, and then I was like dragging it back. And by the way, I'm a city guy. Like, I don't know how to use tractors. This was, oh my gosh, this would have been the funniest thing to watch. Like, what's that guy doing over there? What the hell is he doing? It was crazy. Yeah, I know. So super crazy. So I'm out there in a uniform on a tractor as a city boy, as a cop, before work, trying to put this massive fire that I apparently started the night before by throwing coals. Not a good idea, you guys. And I'm out there like scraping and dumping and pulling dirt and dumping dirt on. And this fire is in the earth. It's like in the earth, because she had rototilled deep, like 2 feet deep, all these pieces of wood, all this wood. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't put it out. And I'm freaking out, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get to work. And I was a new cop. I'm like, I can't get fired for this. So I ran inside. I pulled the trailer back, and I ran inside, and I'm like, honey, happy birthday. She's like, oh, thank you. I'm like, give me a kiss. Okay, I got to go to work. By the way, the backyard's on fire. I need your help. Put it out. Thanks. And I took off, and she woke up. Okay, thanks, bye. She went out back. She was like, oh my God. She like hooked up a hose. Imagine that. She's smart, knows water puts fire out instead of a tractor. And so she gets a hose out there, and she starts like spraying it all. And then once she starts to get it kind of smoldering, she takes the tractor and she starts dragging and doing all the things that she knows how to do with a tractor, gets it all put out, takes her over 2 hours. On her birthday morning, she got to put that out, the fire that I started, that I bailed on her. I was like, happy birthday, have a good day, and took off. So anyway, it was funny, but she asked me, she said, why didn't you call the police like with this massive fire? And I'm like, and lose my job? Like, no way.
Or be ridiculed mercilessly?
Yeah, that would have been worse. Like, super cop destroys home. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a bad news bear. So anyway, that's the story. Bottom line, I threw some coals. It landed in her garden area, and it started a massive underground fire that went from underground to above ground. It created this like huge wall of smoke that was like 45 feet wide, and it was just moving. Worst part about it, none of my neighbors called the police. None of my neighbors called the cops. Only one neighbor called anyone. My one neighbor was across the street and had a what do you call it for air conditioning, but swamp cooler. It had a swamp cooler, which sucks the outside air in. And all night it had been burning, and apparently all night that smoke had gone into their swamp cooler and into their house. So their whole house smelled like smoke. And so they were so upset with that. Of course, don't call the fire department. That wouldn't make sense. They called the city or the county and said that I was burning construction waste all night. Construction waste. I'm like, what does that even mean? Construction waste. And they accused me of,
That's what it smelled like.
yeah. And so then anyway, I get home from work. It's like 5 o'clock, and this guy from the county shows up and he's like, you guys been burning construction waste? I'm like, oh no, man, look around. There ain't no construction waste here. Look, go ahead and look. And he's like looking, and there's this like black burn area over there. I'm like, yeah, that was my garden. We were burning it to like enrich the soil. Enrich the soil. I've seen farmers do this. I know it's a thing. So, oh my gosh, my wife's awesome. She is, she has never shoved that in my face. She's never made me feel bad about that. I mean, she was a bit frustrated with me on her birthday, had to wake up, run outside and put a massive fire out to cover my butt and make sure I don't get fired from my job. I definitely treat her like a queen for sure because of that. So you make sure you do that. It's just crazy. I was not put into a doghouse or anything metaphorically. Says they say beautiful flowers grow from ashes. That's true. In fact, her garden in the desert, her garden grew some amazing things. Her garden was insane. And I like to think that it was because of my fire in some small way. My fire really did actually help cultivate that dirt, which eventually helped her to grow massive and crazy things. So, yeah, crazy story. I can't believe that I almost burned this place down, but it was just what happens when you put a city boy in where he shouldn't be. So anyway, well, I appreciate you guys stopping on by, listening to our stories at story time. I really appreciate you guys having fun. I'm glad we got to show you his account today. If you're just now hopping in and seeing this, remember, you can always go back and watch more. As always,
This was SureShot.
and this is Warrior out.